This one starts blue, you think, or it starts red?
He'll. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the guy is gonna do. I'm not inside his mind.
Yeah, I get it.
He probably should start red, but in fact, he definitely should start red. But he's
Alright.
gonna start blue because bot lane big leash. Yeah, hard trade on this guy. Bruh. It was before lane phase. He's a grasp. You could have
Abuse them.
You could have fucked him up, yeah.
Yeah, I get it. You're right.
Just take a really long trade with no minions and conquer it. Alright, we want to try to get a cheater recall off, so try to slow push his lane and do exactly that. If you can get a good trade.
Oh wow, missed it. Nice. I'm trolling.
Alright, this is gonna crash pretty fast now. So the cheater's botched. We can but we can just look to get good trades on him and then crash it and then look to crash wave 4 or 5.
Okay, alright.
So I would
No!
go ahead and crash 2. Yeah. Okay.
I have a go ward, I guess.
Yeah, you can ward try here. It's really good for you.
I see him though, he's right there. Oh, really? Oh. What is he asking for? Me to get prior?
Yeah, just be ready to move if they see each other.
Okay.
Trundle's full HP with double buffs, so he's able to fuck up Lee Sin quite hard. I don't think he'll need help. Let the wave come into you. You're not gonna be able to crash this if he's decent.
If he would have been PTA, would he be able to actually push me off the wave? Super hard.
Yeah, this is fine. I wanted to get an early recall so we could get a call. But this works. Okay, if he lets you trade on him. Don't just. We only want the wave to come into us so we can crash. But if we can fuck up his health bar and make him let us crash, then it's fine too. Yeah, just keep on. Yeah, it's fine. Just get XP. That's good. Staying like that is fine. You can walk up like he's. If he wants to Q on you again, that's fine. You can go for this, but you might have to flash for it. Maybe you can vital behinds. Nice. Okay, that's really nice. Alright, drinking your potion, that's good. The wave's coming into you fast. Trundle's topside. I don't think that's good because you're not gonna contest this wave. You're gonna
Share back?
No.
I just wait for him to crash?
We're greeting here. Yeah.
Alright.
Go check your Gromp. It's a bit late now, but go check it anyway. If Lee Sin is in this tri-brush, then you get the tower and you base. Okay, yeah. So ward try, and farm this wave. Don't get queued by him. You need to keep your health decent. But now Lee Sin's only play is to make a play on top, but it's pretty int, I think. They can't dive you if. Yep. Okay. Nice. Alright. Slow push.
A card push?
No.
A slow push?
Just
okay.
last hit, yep.
Sad.
Yeah, when the minions are aggroing like that, you need to, like, auto.
Yeah, I knew to, yeah, I figured. Wow, that block.
Okay. and we're gonna slow push this
I'll
next
push the
one.
next.
And we're gonna
Oh,
push
yeah,
the
really?
next. Yeah.
You got aggro just at the last second. I'm so mad. Nice. Can I push the next one?
Probably not, but just go. Just get what you can. Queue him if you like. Be a little careful. What items does he have? Does he have a bombies?
No, he has
Chain
the chain.
fist. What? How fucking int is he? Okay. And get this in. You've got a big minion advantage. If he trades, it's fine to go for his vitals and stuff. But if he just sits here and tanks it, yeah, okay, get away, get away. You're fine. You got
I'm gonna
enough
go
push.
with a bit further because I don't know.
Yeah, you can just recall them. That's fine. We're just gonna TP onto this wave because if he hard shoves next, then we're gonna come back with
I go Tiamat, right?
no, go Vamp, Cole, Boots. Or sorry,
Really?
Vamp, Cole, Rejuve or
What?
whatever. Yeah, that's fine. Or TP onto this, yeah. Because he didn't go Bramble, right? Q him when he goes for this. When he goes for this. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Now just pull
We
the wave.
force them to use.
Walk into the bush to de-aggro these, so they yeah. Yeah, look to go level 7 and look to trade on him. We're not letting him crash this. Not easily. His build is inferior to ours. You win. Just get the trades and abuse the Vamp Scepter. Trundle's coming. Just pull the wave. Nice.
No.
Yep. You can survive though. You have enough effective HP. He has no damage in his build, remember? Okay, no, just don't do whatever Trundle's doing. Just pull the wave like this. Okay, perfect. Perfect. Don't let Trundle ping Trundle off. You don't want him to hit this wave.
Not in the wave, man.
Yeah, but he didn't know this. He was doing the right thing after a gank. After you burn a flash, you usually want to do that. So, like, but you didn't ping him fast enough. So this is.
I get it.
Like I literally, I had a game today where I had to ping a challenger jungle off my wave. It happens, right? Like you just need to be fast.
I don't know. Okay, because usually they don't help me push. It's really rare they do, to be honest.
Like that minion wasn't gonna die for a really long time. So in this scenario, every minion that you kill a little too early is So you have to keep in mind what's being aggroed as well.
I get it. I understand. Yeah.
So see, he's gonna lose this cannon, but I think he would have lost the rest of the wave if we had managed a little bit better. Or also we don't want to take autos from minions. So like when that melee dies, they're gonna re-aggro onto you right now because you're forward. See, so it's nice to F key, but don't miss minions for it. We're since we don't have TP. Right.
Do I hard trade?
You trade just hard enough that your Vamp Scepter isn't losing value. You don't have to hold this free, so you let it go.
Oh no, I don't. Okay.
I don't know. Like we were just denying him the minions we could. And now this is actually gonna freeze anyway. These two minions, it's gonna hold this next wave here, which is nice for you. I would look mid. I would ping Lux off. Trundle has no R. Trundle has no R. Or Malphite has no R, so. Dude, these pings are so random. You have to when you danger ping, you have to ping the area that he's.
Okay. He should be in.
Yeah. Okay, wait. Just get as many last hits as you can. That's entirely.
Yeah,
Word River.
I'm watching too many.
Word River after you don't want to lose a last hit for it though. So wait until they aggro cannon and then. Because right now it's very unlikely that they can kill you. It's impossible if you play right. Okay, ward about halfway to that. It's a little too. It's a good ward, but you're gonna lose. So you could have. Yeah, I called it right when you were going for that ward. Yeah, you had to ward just a little bit closer. You can ward the river bush about halfway into it.
Okay.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
Malphite's bot, so crash this. And we can assume he used TP, so we're just gonna go for plates. This is really good. Your team just carried you. You didn't lose any plates, so just, or you didn't lose like they didn't lose anything, and they burned your laner's TP and stuff. So this is super good for you.
More?
Yeah, just go for this third plate. but don't go for the wave. Just last hit the wave. So like when these minions die, like make sure to get the last hits. Okay, you can just back off here. Yeah, that's fine. Because the melees will die on their own. You could have killed the melees as well, that's fine. But you're gonna get XP for the melees, and now you can get back. And you can get team up boots. Now alternatively, we could have done some funky shit with like a Sheen or a Phage plus boots. Because he has no TP, so now freezing on him gets a lot more value, right? And because he's not building Bramble, Ravenous is gonna be insane.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
that's why I think that's decent. But then again, like, yeah.
I get it.
Anyway, Trundle's going to get Dragon, so having push advantage is not going to be bad. We should look to bully him and then just run into their red side. So slow push when you need to, like don't just give him free farm, but you're gonna eventually push because you have Tiamat too. So yeah, pull this one. Okay, Trundle's moving or Malphite's moving, so just start shoving. Never mind. Okay, perfect. Yeah, see, like it just pivots on just a second. You know, generally applying pressure is more important than denying some CS.
Yeah, I get
So
it.
if it looks like he's gonna kill your team at your elo, like you just have to go finish the tower off. It's fine. You win extended trades. He doesn't have enough. Like you can just press R on him. Yeah, just go for it. Yeah, see, without Bommies or Bramble, he had no way of. He couldn't kill you, you know? Like, you just didn't have enough damage. It's fine. You heal so much. Yeah. Just hit the wave.
Alright. Oh.
Stay in the wave. Stay in the wave. He's level 7. If you play this well, you can kill him easily. Then you can't stay in the wave anymore. Trundle's not going for you. Hitting the keys harder doesn't actually do anything, by the way. Go shove the wave. He doesn't need your help. He doesn't need your help. Go shove the wave.
Naturally, I just have heavy fingers. I'm really bad with that. I know.
And when you hit level 11, your red buff is gonna go into overdrive and start healing you more. So, yep, perfect. You can just get this in. I would like to trade on him as well. Like, oof.
Maybe not anymore.
You can still hit the vital here. Yeah, screw it. He doesn't have R. Yeah, punish him. Nice. Now just reset and TP back. Trundle's gonna use okay, the minions are gonna see you, so he can potentially stop, but they're not gonna aggro you. All right. And get Hydra plus null magic.
No magic, really.
Wait, who's their mid laner? Does they have an AP mid? They have it.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Null magic.
I take it back.
TP back. Yeah. We're just keeping up pressure here, because like the only way they win, your team's winning, and you chunked out Malphite. So if you don't TP, then like you're risking giving him a free reset and then potentially roaming on your team. Also, TP now is a minute less. You know, push away. We're not doing anything if we move there. Just shove the wave and punish him for leaving. You can trade on him. He's coming through Tribrush, so if we could have potentially moved a little bit more. Just go proxy, or just hit the tower a couple times in his face. That also works. Maybe next wave you can do that, because you heal so much. You can hit the tower a few times in his face. You can 2v1 them really easily. They have no damage. Just now, at least in his bot side. So go do Crocs. Sure.
Alright.
So kill the big one, and then it should be in time for the next wave, and then finish off the small ones after the wave. So, but yeah, just watch your wave. Yeah. Hit the cannon. Spam everything. No, go quick to Krogs before they despawn. Oh, okay, that's fine. Now he just no, we run into his jungle. Oh, we can do that. He's overextended as well, so that's also an option.
Let's go get him.
Yeah, why not? Obviously, getting deep vision's really nice. Okay, that doesn't do anything because we know Lisa just is off reset. But
You get so much movement space for your Q and his Q. Disgusting.
this and get into their red side and start looking for raptors, start looking for deep wards. Or
Can I
yeah,
hit the tower?
hit this tower in his face, that's fine too. But we don't want to lose too much HP, because then Lee Sin can come. Yeah. This is fine. You can drone on him, he doesn't...
I don't know, I'm just like...
You didn't have enough range to like... But if you had reaction tested him and queued behind him, hit that vital, then I think you kill pretty easily. But yeah, just shove this in, he can't do shit. Shove next.
Back.
Perfect CS this, and you get your coal pops. Nice.
Right.
Run into the red side jungle. And just look, see if raptors are up. If raptors are up, take them. They're probably not. Yep. Okay. Now run and you can go do scuttle. This is fine. It's your team's already got Lux is going mid, so you don't need to go there. Your team's already got a dragon, so that's fine too. So just an extended play, and you're not in an awkward position if you take this reset, right? Or if you take the scuttle, it doesn't put you in an awkward position because you can force a reset whenever you want. So go back top after this, and keep shoving. Yeah, you can maybe just kill Malphite. I think they're releasing AFK.
You think so?
Yeah.
He's mad?
Or either that or he's in red side, but like the fact that he isn't showing is when they're this far up is pretty ridiculous. Okay, we're gonna shove next just because our team is being really far up, and sitting on 2.5k isn't the end of the world when we're 17-4.
Wow, you're trolling me, little minion. Did I go Krugs?
Back to Krugs. Alright, just take reset.
Okay.
Your team wants to overextend at this point. I think that they have to catch this next wave C, so okay, you should danger ping your team because Malphite's behind them right now. Malphite's gonna ult on them pretty soon. Alright, nice. Yeah. Just Trinity components, finish your mercs obviously, and then get Phage, Cell, and get Stinger.
Let's sell that, or I still
that, right? Yeah. Cole is 7 AD, so it's much more value when you keep it than when you...
Sure.
Well, not much more, but it's more value.
You want TP here?
Otherwise, it's only 180 AD. Well, you don't have TP, so no.
Oh, yeah, sure.
You can run and take red, though, or you can I would just go top, fuck it, get the last tower in,
yeah.
just in case. Yeah, I mean, you could run through mid as well, but, like...
I don't know.
It's whatever.
Seems like it's a GG, to be honest. Oh, Listen is back. Alright. I'm gonna go top then. I mean... Yeah, it's kind of dead.
Like, it's whatever, right? Like, if you go top and your team, like, backs off, you're...
They're kind of smurfing.
With the...
That was, like... Alright, that's, like... What kind of game is that?
It's,
That rarely happens. Honestly, it happens... It doesn't happen often. Alright, let's end.
I don't know about Flash, but Tristana.
I guess she's tilted. Don't blame her. She's just tilted. She's 251, like, she's just mad.
I'm sorry for blaming her.
What the fuck, man? I need to play more in the morning, I guess. The games are so much easier.
But we always do coaching at this time, and that's not...
It's a long time we haven't done any live, to be honest. It's like almost a month.
I thought it was only 2 sessions ago that we did it, or 3 max, like 2.
No, we did, like, if I calculate it, we did. It's at least 5 weeks because when last time was VOD review, the time before was the lane, the time before was the VOD review, and the time before that was another VOD review.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it's a long time. I mean,
I could have sworn we did a live session like 3 ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
My M1 seconds gotten so bad. What a cry. Oh. I mean, I think it was a good idea for me to tell him to go ADC, I guess. He freaking ended up like 11-0.
Yeah.
There was a bit of...
Not a bad filled ADC. That shit's like almost as good as my Ezreal.
What's your Ezreal?
My Ezreal is unstoppable.
Really?
Yes. I think I'm like 5-1 on him in the season or something. So.
Really? Alright. So you're not joking. You're like my friend. My friend is like one of my friend is he's a D2 support player, and like what's funny is like he plays support, but like he's the same level at any position now. Like he's been playing for so long that like he can play any position to that level, which makes me laugh.
Yeah, that's usually a decent sign. I have a plan. The only problem is well, I mean, there's two problems. One, mental, and then two, well, I guess there's three problems. Two, time, but that's not as big of a problem as mental and just acquiring four accounts. I want to make I want to get master on all 5 roles, but
you want to do something like Magifelix just to
Did he do that?
He did. I know he's challenger, support, jungle, top, and mid, and he's doing it now on ADC.
Like
but
if you're a high challenger player and you can't get challenger on all roles, then you're probably lacking some extreme game knowledge. And like now, I'm a grandmaster player, so if I can't get master on all roles, I'm lacking some extreme game knowledge. Like I think
I get it.
As long as you can one trick a champion and become like reasonably competent at the mechanics of that champion, then there's nothing stopping you.
I don't know. I think just Magiflix is way too good. That's just all there is to it.
Yeah, I mean he's a high challenger player, right? Like
he plays anything. It's kind of dumb.
Yeah, but like I think like you're talking about solo queue, like if you're a high challenger player, like I said, like you can get low challenger playing anything. Like that's kind of to be expected.
No, but the thing is, he doesn't get low challenger. That's the problem. It's
like high challenger with everything.
But I know with top, he's like there was a point where his top account was higher than his mid account. Right?
Yeah.
Like it's quite insane. He was like top 10, I think. He entered top 10 in top players like playing Fiora. I watched him a lot play Fiora because of that. I was like, he's insane.
Yeah, that's fair enough. That's pretty good. But like I think a fair amount of players can play everything.
I think so too. Just like once you play long enough, you understand the game concept on its whole, right? So
I think to be a high level player, you need to be reasonably well. I mean, there's no maybe not. There's a lot of players that are just like insane mechanically, but I think once you get into like GM plus, people know the game enough, and at that point, like most people can fill reasonably well.
There's one thing I tried. You told me to try the Malphite Triforce build.
Yeah.
And it's dumb.
As in dumb good.
It's stupid dumb. Like it's like
that doesn't elaborate.
It's stupid dumb good. Like it's so freaking crazy. Like people don't understand the damage output of that build. They're like, you come back for lane with like Bammies, and then you build a Sheen, alright? And they're like, you get level 6, and you just
this is what happened last
time. One-shot them.
Okay, no, because wait, was this? I guess this was a VOD review when you played Malphite, but like we reviewed your Malphite game, and you didn't build any damage on Malphite. And then this Malphite you played against didn't build any damage. You see the theme? It's shitty. Like you need damage on Malphite. You need a Bombies, you need a Sheen, you need a Bramble, you need something.
You go like against Fiora. Usually, what I do is like I'm gonna build Bombies first, unless like she like I see like she really annoys me. But usually I'm gonna build Bombies, and if I can get a kill before, I'm gonna build Sheen before I build Bramble. Because Sheen is so dumb. Like she can't.
The order of Bombies and Bramble in this situation. I think usually Bramble first is gonna be good.
Really? For before, I don't know. I felt like unless they're really bad against the one I play. So
if you are can vital you, if she can ult you, then like there's.
But like it's so easy to counterplay her vitals, right? You just hug the wall. I mean, and then her ults is like kind of doomed. Like she can do nothing. And then like the thing is, the moment she ults me, I just Q her, so I steal her movement speed, and I just rush to the wall, and I'm like,
but you're assuming the Fiora is all-inning you, and I guess like, but
if she arcs, you're gonna want to all-in, right?
Well, I mean, if you're ulting her, if you're all-inning her, she can R in order to heal.
Oh, definitely.
And then if you back off, then she just backs off as well. Like that's a pretty.
I get it.
Like
to me, I don't know, because every time I've used R, I use it in melee range. Like I rarely like actually like engage with my R.
Against Fiora, yeah, you pretty much have to. Like that's fair. But
yeah, so usually I'm gonna go like auto W, auto E, and then once she's low enough, then I'm gonna R, and then I'm gonna like just auto her to death, right?
Yeah.
It's like usually that's what I made. It's really strong. People thought I was trolling a lot because like I did the Triforce Wits End build.
Okay.
And like people think I'm trolling a lot when they do that. They're like, "What the fuck?" But then I look at the damage chart at the end, and they're like, I'll damage everybody.
Yeah, no,
It's pretty.
this is how you build Malphite. Like not all tanks like need to like Malphite doesn't really succeed as a champion if he's not trading in lane. So Malphite needs that damage to actually fight people. Where a lot of other tanks just can chill and can be like really high utility and stuff. Malphite tends to need damage because just the amount of
It's because
utility his R
it
needs.
doesn't have a lot. It doesn't have a lot.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
not compared to like an Ornn or a Maokai.
Yeah.
So
He doesn't bring as much. Like he's an old butt after a while. Like that's all he is.
yep. Okay, so here.
Yeah, here I should have went on like I should have walked straight through like the right here in the back of him so I can cut him off
Just get behind him.
instead of going here and then go behind him so I can get a little Q the other side. Then yeah, I can see exactly the play. I don't know why
You click behind him. Like as soon as you click behind him, that was we couldn't or not behind. Well, in
front of him. Yeah,
well,
that was doing. I was supposed to go. Yeah, I know. Yeah,
so
I realized
this
it.
click. At this point, you can't go in, unless of course he randomly walks in or something. But yeah, you could have chunked him pretty heavily, burned a corrupting stack before early. He doesn't really want to fight you until he has a few levels in his queue. LA he's an Emax Malphite, so maybe he's a grass Malphite.
W max? Is he W max or E max?
You know, I actually don't even know. He wasn't dealing any damage.
Yeah, you're right.
I really don't know from this game. We can look afterwards. And
I crashed the wave too fast.
Yeah.
This.
So this. I
should have. Did I auto more than once?
Yeah, but okay. Yes. So when you're looking to trade, you don't need to audit the wave.
Okay.
Because the trading itself will push it. And like if Malphite hits the wave a couple times, you can trade on him, and then
it's gonna.
And then you can still hit the minions, and then you're gonna win a trade, and you're still gonna have the same result. The only time that you push the wave early is when it's like it's close. If you have the aggression advantage early, then you know, and that's why ranged champions don't hit the wave early. That's why you don't hit the wave as if you're playing a ranged champion. You hold the wave there because you know you're gonna push just from harassing them. And if you push them in sooner, then you're gonna have less of a stacked wave. You're gonna not.
And that's also why like a lot of melee goes for a lot of range goes for like the third tribe rush, and they try to pull the wave so that way it negates like the push from their aggressivity, I guess.
Yeah.
Not trading.
So I mean, here this is fine.
I should have been. I don't know more.
I literally think at this point, then it's gonna crash too quickly. Unless, I mean, maybe not, but I don't mind just going for this. A wave 3 crash is fine here because Trundle's pathing top. Lee Sin's also pathing top. But yeah, at this point, the call, and I'm telling you this already, is we want to crash on wave 2. So that involves like taking this vital trade, for example, and then hitting, like, we could have hit the bottom caster there just to get the wave in a little bit quicker. And then with a crash on 2, we let it come back to us, and then we look to either pull it and bounce it, or get a good enough trade that we can crash the wave. But what we don't want to do is, like, he ends up keeping the wave in his pocket for a really long time. Obviously, after this wave 2 crash, like, it's going to be on your side, or it's going to be on his side. So the only trades that we can take onto him are trades that will let us push in. Otherwise, he's just perpetually, like, if all we do is break his shield and then do like 50 damage, then he's going to be able to keep the wave in his pocket. And then he's going to be able to scale up to like level 5 or whatever. He's going to be where he wants to be this entire time. It's going to be an awkward spot where if you move to help Trundle, then he can leave. Well, he can leave with you.
And then he doesn't lose anything. He doesn't lose anything. I lose a lot.
All right, and if you guys lose the trade, you guys lose Trundle, then this is just a perma-freeze on you and all that. So,
like, and then it can be really bad.
But then, like, for example, here, I think like going for the Q on him is fine. Just going for that quick vital before your wave came in, like going like here.
Okay, so yeah, okay. I understand why.
Yeah. So now, and again, like when you take minion aggro like this, you stay and you auto attack. But one, you don't want to auto attack the minions. This is not our goal here because we want to like I was just explaining how we're trying to manipulate the wave. And then so going for those autos is counterintuitive, and then 2, you're staying around, so his minions are hitting you, so you're pushing via like two pathways, and you're also taking minion aggro.
You think
So-
like the best would have been just to take the it, try to pull the minion out of tower range, and back off in the bush
Just
for the aggro?
Vital and walk back. By the time you get to the bush,
Sure.
the minions will de-aggro anyway. So in
Yeah,
that
for
case,
sure. Yeah.
yeah, just vital and walk back.
But could I pull the wave by taking the aggro?
It doesn't accomplish anything though. Like the closer it is to, like I said, at this point, like if you walk down the wave, the casters, yeah, see how the casters move? They're gonna do that. They're just gonna do that a little bit more.
Yeah.
That doesn't accomplish anything for you. Like it
Okay.
doesn't change the wave state.
Okay. Get it.
Yeah.
Get it.
And then like I don't know if you wanted to go for Malphite there, but it's gonna target the minion there, because it's the minion's low HP. And going for these last hits and stuff, we're just kind of perpetually keeping the wave here. And we need to either pull the wave out or yeah, because again, our goal is to get a crash. The initial wave 3 crash I think is good against the Malphite, because if you force his base on wave 3, or if you base on wave 3, you can come back with a Cull. If you have a Cull, then you're basically saying, all right, if you want to negate lane, then I'm gonna be a bit richer.
Yeah, I get it.
And you come back, if you can trade on him during that situation, great. If you can't, you just let him crash the wave, and then if he crashes after on like wave 5 or 6 because you crashed on wave 3, then what can he buy? He can't buy a Bramble Vest. He can't buy a Balmy Cinder. He's sitting on like 750 gold. So when he's chilling at like 750, like 870 gold, assuming perfect CS, maybe he can get a Balmies on 6, like with selling Biscuit or whatever. But more than likely, if he's missed like any CS at all, has used his biscuits, whatever, he won't be able to get a Balmies. So when he crashes that wave, he's going to look to take a reset, because, well, hopefully he looks to take a reset. His two options are, one, he resets, and he comes back with an awkward base. Like, he'll have like a Ruby Crystal and a Cloth Armor and a Control Ward. Okay. Or he'll have like double Cloth Armor or double Ruby Crystal. None of these purchases are that good, right? None of these purchases give him enough damage to actually effectively like have kill threat on you at 6. Considering he's Grass Malphite, he doesn't really have that much. We're not assuming that he's gonna like corrupt and Q harass us that much. So this is a really good state for us to be in, and this entire time we farmed it with Cole. If he stays, obviously that's also good for us, because now we have an item advantage. We have our TP. We lost like 2 minions taking our cheater recall, but we're staying in lane, farming up with Cole, and we can TP back whenever we want. Which Malphite doesn't like, because he wants to harass you and pin you in lane. He doesn't want you to just chill and free farm and be able to take whatever base you want.
Yeah, he wants to push it off the wave.
Yeah. So we could also go for Doran's Blade and do this exact same game plan.
But like when I don't know, like in terms of Cole versus Doran's, like since it's a lane where you're not like it would be PTA, maybe I would go Doran's, right?
I mean, EHP is good against Malphite, right? Because he really wants to trade onto you. So Doran's is.
But this guy didn't want to trade. This is the thing. He wasn't trading that much.
Yeah, I like Cole because it is a greedy item,
stealing, right?
and I like being greedy. But in reality, like sinning is how the world works. So let's I mean, D-Blade might be just better here. But the point remains: if we crash on 3, we get a 450 tier item and a control word if we perfect CS it, and then we get back and we force his only 2 options are crashing too early with the bounce. Well, I mean, that's really his only option. He's got to crash too early with the bounce, and then he can either reset and get shitty items, or he can not reset and be in an even worse position and without shitty items. So no matter what, you're in a good position here. But what we don't want to do is let him stay in lane long enough to get his Bramble or Bommies.
Yeah, I get it.
By letting the wave sit in the pocket, then
we kind of give him
1,000 gold, he wins super hard on base, right? Because he gets like, what do we get? Like, we get a Vamp, we get triple longsword, we get just something else that doesn't help us, and then he gets a Bramble
Vest, and it counters your
old
kit. Yeah, for sure. I get it. I understand that for sure.
And he ended up getting a Chain Vest, so he ended up entering the lane for so at this point, alright, okay. So here we see Lee, backing off is good, and then staying here is also like fine. If you know you're not gonna die, I think that going for this is decent. Actually, no.
Okay.
I think it's decent because I think worst case you burn your flash.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you burn your
I
flash and
die.
you burn your flash and your TP in your ward. That's worst case. But you're sitting on 870 and the wave's coming into you, so having the TP back is not the end of the world. Um, and again, they can't dive you after if you TP back anyway. And Trundle's getting some cross map stuff. Like it's really not that bad for you. To have to do this. Your Fiora, like your TP is not going to be the end of the world. You can freeze on the Malphite. Lee Sin would have to come top again just to break the freeze once you have items. So it's not that bad. Also, there's a good chance that Lee Sin isn't here. Like at this point, Lee Sin should be running into your blue side. Like staying is sinning and it's stupid. If he sees the cannons going down and stays, okay, that's fine. But you end up getting the cannon. He Qs early, you W it. If he didn't Q early, you'd look the flash's Q. Um, you should have had to burn flash. You probably should have had to burn a little bit more HP if they play it well. But I think going for this is fine because he doesn't always stay. This actual trade ends up being worth for you pretty much. Um, Getting the cannon and wasting Lee Sin's time and being able to stay like this ends up being really worth.
Mm-hmm.
If they play it well, it's not worth for you, I don't think. But I think it's worth the considering there's a pretty good chance he doesn't stay like that. Because now he's wasted a lot of time. So we're able to stay here because of the nature of their champions. They have no hard CC, um, and their damage is loaded into like Lee Sin's Q, which is an ability you can riposte. Uh, so I think it's perfectly fine to stay here. You have your flash up. Life is good for you.
Wasn't too
Okay.
bad.
And the reason we slow push this is because we're going to hit 6, so we have a pretty significant advantage on Malphite, making it very hard for him to freeze this. Um, so I wanted you actually to push one wave earlier.
So next wave, you wanted me to hard push on the next wave, right?
Yeah, and then
Okay.
because that means that there's one more wave of safety. At this stage, you're not really that safe. Lee Sin could have very easily done your Trundle's
You top side jungle and
Trundle's
then you
top
just
side,
turn.
and then you're chilling here
Mm-hmm.
against a Malphite that can expend his HP bar to hold the freeze. Also, look at Malphite hit 6 because of the extra wave.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
level
So
6 Malphite
I'm
is
in
tough.
danger right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah. Definitely. I could
honestly,
have done worse.
if Malphite plays it well and you hard shift this one, I'm not 100% sure if you get it in, but it's kind of fine if you don't, because you can walk back and sack a wave, or you can TP on the wave. Walking back's probably better without intel on Lee Sin. But either way, you get advantageous buy, and you are in the lane phase. And when this much jungle attention is giving to them, um, being in the lane phase is totally fine. And then, okay, we should have done this. Yeah, so I'm not 100% sure about this the buy I told you to get. Like, I don't think it's objectively the best purchase you could have done. But the reason I went for it is because he has no Bramble and he has no components for Bramble. So
So
he's
like it doesn't counter my empathetic. If let's say it would have been Bramble, then Vamp Setter is
if
not as good, right?
or if he has like double cloth armor, then he can turn it into Bramble, right? Or if he has a single cloth
Mm-hmm.
armor instead of his boots. But chilling with what he has now, like if he goes Bramble Chain Vest, it's not even that good. And
Mm-hmm.
um,
It kind of forces him to buy some fire by going chainmail, right?
pretty much. And yeah, we see he ends up going double Ruby, which I assume he could only afford that, and that's why he didn't go Bommies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
But yeah. So I kind of like Rejuve here better. I'm not actually, but I'm wrong. I would have gone Rejuve. That was my instinct, but Pod is better here. Because
Don't you
he's
get more health from the? But I do run second win, right? Because I took second win because usually they go combat or something and they poke you
Re
a lot. So
Rejuve is just greedy, and when we're playing Fiora into a tank, and the wave's coming into us, and we've got our flash, and we're in a perfectly fine position where like we're never gonna. I just feel like the greedier the better,
okay,
if we can get away with it. But
yeah,
I don't think this is too bad because this way we can maintain our freeze a lot more aggressively because we can get instant access to HP. It's instant access versus a slow burn of HP. Um, Refillable tends to be the better item, but Rejuvenation Bead tends to be more gold efficient because you don't lose the
could
9
be.
hit. It turns into Tiamat. So
Okay. On Fiora, I almost never buy it for lane. Like it's not like because she doesn't have like good of a regen, right? Her regen is like kind of really underwhelming to be honest, compared to like Tryndamere and like Darius, where like buying it is super good.
So here I'm already looking like as soon as he flashes there, I'm
Okay,
looking at
yeah,
how we're holding this. So I've already pinged Trundle back multiple times. If you
yeah,
do that, at this point, like once Trundle he realizes pretty late, he holds the minions there. So right
yeah.
now the minions that are fighting are actually favored. Your minions are favored, so his minions are actually dying faster. Then the
Mm-hmm.
reinforcement minions come in, and that's 4 casters, and that's fine. Um, but at this stage, we want to and again, like no minions were aggroed on this melee. This is something that you should. I mean, you're already really good at wave control for your elo, so maybe it's not the best thing to focus on.
No, but I
But
understand. I understand what you mean.
but
It's like
see
I
how
need to realize
none
which
are
one.
aggroing this cannon or this melee.
Yeah, yeah, they're all three on
Yeah,
the bottom
exactly.
right one.
And
So I
it's
don't need to kill it.
right, and 3 minion autos wouldn't even have killed that. So you could have let it sit for a while, um,
Okay.
and that would have compounded into this next wave. And then you could have not queued that one, which was totally fine. Also, you just wasted mana. Like you could have walked up and autoed it, and it would have been better for your lane state, and it also would have not cost you the mana.
Mm-hmm.
These are small things, but your TP's down, and you don't have a laner, so it's like might as well maximize our advantage here, because this will translate into a few minions and some mana. You can last. You should be able to last at every minion without spending any mana. Be full HP from whatever lifesteal you have, which isn't a problem here because you were already pretty close to being full HP. And minimize the amount of minions he gets. Every time you take an auto from the minion, stuff like that, you're potentially giving him an extra minion. And the earlier this happens, obviously, the more impactful it is because it does compound. So I'd say that you ended up giving him a few minions that he didn't otherwise have to get. At this point, once he shows up, our TP is down, and he's a beefy boy. He's got his corrupting pot back. I think, I mean, maybe you could have taken a small trade. The problem with Malphite is, of course, small trades end up being negated by his Q a lot, or his passive rather.
Mm-hmm.
But since your ult's down, you're chilling on some gold. You're chilling on scaling items, and you don't have like really strong all-in items, right? Your items are meant to win in the long lane, or in the like
You just want a long game, yeah.
yeah,
You're
yeah.
like,
You
yeah.
go a little slower, you heal up. So maybe taking a trade against him is fine. But we definitely like hard freezing is gonna like cost us a lot more HP than we can
So it's a question
generate.
of like, oh, yeah, how much elements, how much
Right.
resources I want to
Because you get
invest
too low,
into.
and all of a sudden your Vamp Scepter, your Coal, your Doran's Blade, like all of this stuff that is making you heal for like 25 in auto at at level 8, is gonna effectively be useless because you can't actually walk up and hit the wave because he'll just kill you. So we don't want to reach that point. We want to be at the point where we can just hold. And I think with that big wave and all that, with his triple corrupting, without your ults, there was a very low chance that you could win the all in there. Um, so by just letting it move back, plus freezing on him doesn't really like accomplish all that much. Like maybe you can run him down after your ult comes back up, um, but it's not really. I mean, if you can run him down, that's cool. But if you're just trading ultimates, it's whatever. If you can let the wave crash and then bounce and then push back into him, then you're preventing him from roaming anyway. So it's not a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so at this point, right,
Yeah, go to
he runs to the
farmer.
river. He's fresh off a base and he's SS here. And your mid laner is a Lux, and she's half HP and she's under tower. I'm like, you should be really
Pinging
looking.
way
Yeah.
more. Yeah, I get it. I
I'm
should
not
be.
actually sure. I couldn't tell you if Malphite ult. I think Malphite ult is a little longer than your ult CD.
Yeah, but I
But
think it must be almost up though. It must be really
right.
almost
So
up.
yeah, exactly. I'm pretty sure if he walks mid and like he goes to the bush next to mid lane, he can ult from that bush like by the time he gets there, or at least like 5 seconds later or whatever. So I
Mm-hmm.
don't think it's that much longer. It's not like it's a Gangplank ult or a Shen ult. Like you should
Yeah.
probably. Um, I was pretty sure that he was gonna ult on Lux and kill her here. Um,
So yeah, I get it. I need to like one missing ping and then like
yeah.
ping down the river saying like he's on his way.
But we have no Tiamat, no intel, and a play just happened bot, and Lee Sin didn't show up to that play. So all these things combined mean we're not gonna hard shove it. We're just going to slow push this and hope that he doesn't get a kill because we can only dime like 3 minions. We can't do anything else. We can't deny anymore. We couldn't have done anything to put ourselves in a position where we could deny more. That wouldn't have been worse for us. So it's fine to just sit here and slow push this. Yeah, so the reason the cannon tanks a bit more, but obviously if you fuck it up, then you're going to lose the whole cannon. So here you should have warded about halfway into this bush.
Yeah,
So
I
you
get
see,
it.
you ward halfway, you're walking back now, and you're comfortably there to auto attack it. You could have even queued that caster. But here you lose the caster and the cannon because we wanted to get a little bit deeper. And then Lee Sin shows up like a millisecond afterwards. Oh, actually, yeah, and we saw Malphite at the exact same time as well, which is kind of a shame. So as soon as Malphite shows bots, hard shove obviously.
Hard
I
shove.
think this was just a
Yeah.
map awareness thing. You can W through the minion wave as well here. And we push, but we get a nice punish here. I think you could have gone for these melees, but the idea is that you last hit the melees. The melees are worth so much more, so like getting the melee XP is really good. But just getting the XP is fine. It doesn't affect your base, and it does affect your tempo to stay. And I don't think it affects it that much to like last hit them, so it's fine. But yeah, So like. Yeah, and actually it ends up like if you had overstayed for those melees, look what would have happened. You actually wouldn't have been able to catch this wave. If you had overstayed for those casters, you wouldn't have been able to catch this wave. So like this is actually like important stuff. When you're on when you understand the timings, this becomes extremely important. So you can walk up and you can pull a wave. You do the right thing here. And now we're looking to just chill, and we're looking to shove if he appears to be extending. It's a little tricky because we don't have any river vision, but we want to shove if he's committing to a mid lane play, or if he's like half committing to it. We're also ahead enough that like, if he walks, if we have intel on Lee, then we can just punish him. If he walks through Tribrush, we can just murder him. So this becomes a winning dynamic here with these items, and the dynamic where he doesn't have all that much counterplay because Tiamat. Maybe you don't win as hard in the 1v1s with Tiamats, but you end up having a lot more counterplay. Yeah, I think as a general rule too, like with these ultis,
hit the lowest one so we can block it because I could have run on the rest of the lane.
Yeah.
I missed that, man.
Because I don't think we had any good intel on Lee. I think all ending him is fine here, but with how long it takes,
yeah, Lee could have been right there.
Because, well, Lee's unlikely to be in this river here, or like it's.
But we have a lot of vision on this thing, so he has to go through like Krugs.
Yeah.
Only from Krugs I would have been able to see him.
And I don't know why he would gank on the timing where like your wave wasn't in a position where it would be. And unless you all in him, he doesn't kill. But the longer this takes, the higher the chance. Like if Lee Sin was on Herald, he could have killed you, for example. So yeah, and this is fine. And Lee Sin ends up being topside, and see the results of this are you're actually a bit lower for HP. If Lee Sin was level 8 and was a bit better of a player, you would have died because of how long the all-in took. I think honestly, like your W's waiting, so you actually play this better than I was thinking. I was thinking you would go for the bottom vital, but with your W on CD, it ends up being not very good. So just going for him here, really nice. I didn't actually even see the animation of you Wing him. You did W his Q damage, but I just didn't. I guess it was the it was like that's so weird. I didn't. Oh, because it's melee, it blocks the animation short?
I guess.
I don't know. I just didn't look like there was.
I think it may be because of the Tiamat. Like it blocked the animation because you couldn't see it because of that.
You zoomed in a bit there, and you haven't zoomed out here. Okay. And then immediately, like after you kill, like your instinct should be to go back top because there's a few more seconds on Malphite. You've got red buffs, you've got plenty of sustain, and helping him with Herald it doesn't do anything. Getting him pressure, getting
it's
in the wave, getting
relief pressure. It's int.
No, it's not the end of the world to help with Herald sometimes, but in this case, yeah.
In this case, it's bad because I give him link control.
And then like
I give him more control on the wave.
Our TP's on a low cooldown because like TP changes, you know, so it's like 5 minutes. We can just.
I need to use it way more.
Yeah, like especially like here, it's like you're just getting pressure at this point. Your team's winning so hard without you. They want to make the enemy team's only win condition is most likely to make a play. Malphite's great at making plays. So his ultimate's up. You shouldn't flip when you can just TP guarantee yourself more minions. Guarantee yourself pressure on the Malphite, who you had chunked in the previous trade, and just continue to apply pressure. And at this stage, because your team's so far forward as well, like when your team's like they're making a rotation into stealing TP, they're really far forward. So if you think about like what you can do by immediately TPing top, is you can shove the top wave in, and then if they continue to make a play on bot side, you can run towards run towards them, and then if it becomes Fiesta status, you can actually impact bot lane by TPing top here. Or you can just shove in the mid tower, and you can get the mid tower. You can just shove in waves, but it's a higher tempo play to TP immediately here, and I think that's what we need right now.
Okay.
So that's why we do this, and then we shove. Proxy. I would have hit the tower a couple times. I would have just Q auto E the tower and then moved immediately behind. That would have done like 500-600 damage to the tower and gotten us a little bit closer. We push this wave in. We immediately go Krugs here. I think if we had microed it a bit better, we actually could have gotten the mini Krugs as well. But anyway, we kill the wave, we run back, and then I think here you should just queue over this wall as opposed to queuing the mini Krug. One, you could have walked the other route. I think honestly, if you just walked down as opposed to all the way around, you would have probably gotten it. If you started the walk down now, yeah, you would have. So that's unfortunate. You missed the medium Krugs, but then with the medium Krugs despawning, instead of queuing this mini Krug, just auto it, queue over the wall, and then run into their red side jungle and look to get wards. Look to take raptors if it's up. That isn't up. But we go back. We go for the trade on Malphites. That's whatever. He ulted here, yeah. And then yeah, I think we probably overextended for like one extra auto. But the general concept is fine. We had potions. We probably should have ran. And you shove this in. You shove in next wave. And this is basically like, if your team is shoving, then you're shoving in waves. When you're ahead like this, this is how you play the game. Because then you're locking your opponent.
You're forcing them on two ends, right?
Yeah, you're forcing them to show. You're getting permanent rotations. You're able to move towards your team every single time a play is beginning. And if the play has follow through, then you end up being able to actually react where the enemy wasn't able to. And then all of a sudden, Fiora becomes a better roaming champion than Malphite. Yeah, so you shove this because you have zero obligation. I'm not explaining this to you in game. You have zero obligation to take your reset now because you can just beat Malphite anyway. If you couldn't beat Malphite, you'd have to take your reset earlier because then he can just lock you in the lane. Not a massive, like obviously your team can just unlock you and stuff like that as well, but it's just the greed doesn't become worth it, requiring your team to move just so you can get the scuttle a little earlier than they would have otherwise. Doesn't make any sense. But yeah, and now since your team is making a play, I think that given the Malphite is flanking, you just want to push. I would danger ping them as well, and I keep an eye on them. Now, once you get to the wave, I think pushing the next wave is fine, and then I think looking for an immediate reset is fine. Looking for Krugs is also fine. If we had looked at Malphite's CS value, we could have seen if Malphite did it. I think it was a little faster for Malphite to do it, so I actually think Lee Sin did this. I don't think Lee Sin was AFK after all. I think he was just full clearing somehow without being caught, which is super weird. Should have gotten deep ward so we could actually see him and kill him. And then here you end. It doesn't, like, in this situation, it doesn't really matter. What the correct play is usually, like, super minutia. I think generally if you're playing a split pusher, like, you might as well split push at the end. Because if they can somehow hold, then you just wasted a ton of time if top wave isn't coming in.
Oh, okay, yeah, I get it.
It literally doesn't matter in the situation. Like it's never gonna make a difference when you're 19-4 and pushing it in. And potentially like your team fights and overextends. Like the chance of them, because they're probably low. They're probably sitting on a lot of gold. You can see their HP and their mana is pretty low. So they're trying to win. They're all sitting on a bunch of shutdowns and they're trying to win this game. But they're a bunch of shutdowns. They've taken inhib, so if they die, they give the enemy team a ton of farm, along with their shutdowns. So if you actually move, you're helping your team.
Like help them throw, right?
Well, you help them No, you stop them from throwing basically.
Okay. Alright.
Ideally, I mean, if you're a smart player and you lower the odds of them failing this and then giving your team a massive in. So which is better is, I mean, what's better is your team actually not trying to end and then you going top there, and you trying to end on like just by taking the third inhib. Probably, unless they can get some kills or whatever. But for all intents and purposes, just run mid with them and then end the game faster so you can move on to the next. I don't think that it's super important what you do in this type of scenario.
And this is why top lane is the best lane. It has so much impact.
It's a super high impact role. That's what I've discovered.
I mean, I've seen, like it can, but like it needs to. It's honestly the most impactful thing you can do is just turn a fight bot lane with your TP. That's the biggest thing, I think.
It's often,
and like,
yeah.
It's just like I was watching like Tenacity. He's I don't know if you know who he is. He's like the top laner for 100 Thieves next. He's like a 17 years old, like rank 4 challenger.
Okay.
In NA, and then like I was watching him play, and it's like just the ability of reading the map is insane. It's really it's like the biggest. Yeah, for sure. Like he wins like crazy, but like what turns the game at like 10 minutes is like a freaking insane TP where they get like 3 kills instead of, and they turn into like a 4v3 instead of a 3v3 or a 2v3. It's insane. Like it just it's actually.
But I think that's not super reliable in Fiora, and you can easily like by just winning.
I mean, he did it on Fiora. It was on Fiora that play.
Yeah, sure, but it's not reliable.
Well, yeah, no, I know what you mean. I know it's like it's a low percent play, and I get it.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, well, not necessarily. Like the play he went for might have been a high percent play. It's just
you have to be able to read it.
You're not playing a champion that's going to be able to do this as many times as another champion might be able to. So by getting a lead and getting, oftentimes the best way to play top lane is chill and get your 2 items, and if you can be ahead, then you can dominate mid game because top laners tend to be really good mid game compared to AD carries, compared to mages. So in this meta, that can often be the best play. Of course, it depends on like what's happening. If there's perma fighting and you're able to get a big TP off, then great. But if your only option for a TP is 1 kill bots and maybe you can get your AD carry an extra kill in like an Enchanter versus Enchanter game, and then you're giving the enemy top laner 3 plates, is that really worth it? Probably not.
No, yeah, so, I get it.
Yeah, I think that's, yes, go for you should still be going for those types of plays and stuff like that, just to practice them, but it's not like the best way to play top. I don't think that's accurate. I think the best way to play top.
So you think the best way is like just to like scale into the game?
The best way is to do the right thing in every given situation, and sometimes that's
for sure,
the TP, and sometimes that's scaling up.
Yeah. You have to be able to you have to have the understanding of the game state to be able to make the correct decision.
And the meta's changed. Like they made plates worth more, and they made them easier to take. So for melees, so all of a sudden, like if you're playing against a melee, a TP needs to be better than it needed to be before. It doesn't mean TPing is never the right play. It just means it is less often. But that's like saying the most OP champion in the game gets nerfed, and then saying that they're no longer a good champion. No, it's just there's now they can still be a really good champion. It's just they're not as strong as before. And similar like TP plays, not as strong as before. But it's like there's no best way to play that's that cut and dry. The best way to play is just making the correct move.
How do you learn how to make the correct move every time? You play more?
Yeah, you play the game. You analyze if your move was correct, and you never learn actually to do the correct move every time, but you get better and better.
It's like the thing is, you always have to ask yourself, like, why did I do it, and what was I getting from it? And so playing in itself is just not enough. That's what I realized. It's just like you need to be able to. It's weird, like. I was like someone that comes in, like that's why like it's good having coaching because it gives you a set of eyes that knows the game way better than you. But like, I find it's extremely hard to just like understand it every time. Like, okay, like I have a good general concept on like the lane and the way the wave plays out because I find it's like easy to do. But it's to do it on the other on the other lanes at the same time as you're doing it. Like it's just so much management at the same time. It's like overwhelming.
Yeah, well, I mean, we focused on wave control a lot.
Yeah,
Because
for sure.
I personally think that's a really important part of the game. It's definitely an important part of the game for top lane, and it's definitely an important part of the game for the champions you play top lane. So we focused on this, but it's only one part of the game, right? There are players that are better than you that don't know nearly as much about wave control. They're better because they have better mechanics, or they're better because they recognize other things in the game. Like they know when they're strong. They know what other when other lanes are just based off the champions are gankable. They have better damage foresight. There's a million other things that they can be better at, and you need to work on all of them simultaneously. The coaching we can focus on big broad concepts that I think are the most important. But I mean, this is part of why this weekly coaching is really good, because I can go through and I didn't just focus on broad concepts with you this game. I focused on a lot of small stuff, right? So it's yeah.
One thing I was asking myself on that, it's like, do you think in terms of like improvement, right? Do you think you should try to limit test as much as possible, even if let's say sometimes you're not sure, because you're gonna get more experience from doing that?
I think it depends. It's like if by flipping a lane, you're putting yourself in a situation where the game now the best way to win is basically to just chill and hope the enemy makes a mistake, or a big mistake. Just going for a flip for no reason, when it can have really drastic consequences or really drastic rewards. I wouldn't gamble an entire game off one decision at 3 minutes. Maybe if you're really strong mental fortitude, you can gamble an entire game on a 30-minute decision. But then you're sitting there after 3 minutes and the entire game is won or lost, because you decided to flip again a carry versus carry matchup.
Do you think at my elo it's already done? I don't think it is, but yeah,
no,
I get
but you're waiting for them to make a mistake, is what I'm saying. They're more likely to make mistakes.
You're not going to be. Yeah. No, I get it. I understand exactly what you mean.
Yeah,
it happened to me the other day.
We've talked about this. I think generally that flipping is good, but I mean we have to. Maybe the nomenclature is bad, because we're not trying to flip coins. We're trying to make an educated guess. We're trying to say, okay, so I remember playing this matchup. Maybe keep a word pad about matchup and stuff. I think this champion, but if you have a word pad that says that it just tells you how to play a matchup, if you're a one trick or whatever, if you just have a little word pad that you wrote yourself, that's okay, so I can beat Irelia at this level. I can beat Irelia in this situation. That probably shouldn't be what your word pad is. It should probably be it should contain some of that, but then it should also contain I want to try fighting in these scenarios.
This are down. Yeah.
Yeah, and then then you can think about that, and then you can try it and be okay, that really didn't work. Okay, that kind of worked. Okay, that really did work. And that's how you become a better player. You don't just flip completely randomly, because if you don't
I understand. No, I understand what you mean. It's you need to when I say unit testing, I don't mean just all right, he's there in front of me.
Yes. Yeah.
Let's go. That's not what I meant. I meant all right, let's try to push my advantage when I see something that I think gives me the advantage for me to go at it. Right? It's oh, he used that cooldown. Let me try to push harder than I would usually, and see what happens. Right? It's I've been doing that a bit more on against Darius, because I used to permaban Darius, right? Permaban him, and now I don't ban him anymore, because I played I think a few games against Darius, and I realized there's only a few things. It's all right, it's really hard to parry his E, but most of the time, if you engage with an auto, he's gonna follow with his W, which you can parry. If he Qs, you can Q in, and then he doesn't get it. And so, if you're able to get all your trade in, and you can only get 4 stacks, you hard win. No matter what, at that point, you're gonna hard win. So, and then I realized, okay, but this happened from but then I realized also, often, I rewatched these games, and I was man, here, this is, I could have pushed my advantage here, where, he uses cooldown on the waves that I don't punish, and I realize I need to be more punishing of that, and just be more aggressive, and just be not let them my big issue sometimes, it's I wait for the perfect timing, as if I was playing against a range matchup. And that's why I think I feel better sometimes at playing against range matchup than melee because range I wait for like okay I know I have the timing now to be able to do it. Like the wave state is good. This is good. This is like whereas like melee it's often like you use this I can force him off the wave.
Yeah,
and I don't do that.
I mean, with
That's-
melees, you have to trade. With range champions, usually the trades you take, you're at least threatening and all in. With melees, it's a lot of like, this is just going to be a trade.
Yeah,
And trading
that's my
is
biggest
something-
issue.
Yeah.
I
Well, I mean,
realize
it's
like
good that you
I
stopped banning
just
Darius,
learn.
I think. It's really good that you learned how to play against him and stop banning him because I think you should, to permaban a champion, you should have a really, really strong
Good
understanding
yeah,
of.
yeah.
I don't think you should permaban champions if you're not like pretty high elo. I permaban Renekton because he's really good into.
Riven, yeah.
Well, he's good
he
into
kinda,
Riven, who's my blind pick, and then he's good into Camille, who's
Vladimir?
no, he's Kale and Vlad. I think I'll find matchups into him, but
Okay.
but two of my four champions.
You have a shield. Once you have a shield, it's
Yeah,
like you
but
just.
I mean, largely because a lot of top laners are just constantly looking to get last picks. So, and there's so many flex picks and stuff that it's hard to tell. Like if they lock Silas top, then I don't know if it's really a Silas top until the end. Somewhere with like a lot of champions. So, like 80% of games, I'm blinding top. And when I blind, it's usually Riven. So, if I'm not like unless my team comp is like it's really into pick Riven there, or against the enemy team comp it's really into pick Riven, I'm probably just gonna blind Riven because with Renekton Banshee's my my favorite blind out of my pool. So that's why, and I know that matchup is really really hard. It basically relies on the Renekton sucking, and sucking bad too. Like if he has any understanding how to play, I think that matchup is super unplayable. But I have also not banned him for like for entire seasons when it was playable, and now I think in this season it's unplayable.
Because of bladed Rome King?
And other reasons, just like
And that dance as well.
there's so many factors. It's both champions build order, whatever keystones are strong, like if they're buffs and nerfs and all that. But just right now, I think it's pretty unplayable. And I only ban it on my higher elo accounts.
Okay.
I mean, my lower elo account, I blind more stuff anyway. But like, yeah, if I'm playing in GM, I can't be fucked to play against Renekton. But this is something that I don't think is applicable.
Why actually a question for you on that? Why is Renekton so highly like he's so good in high elo, and he's not as good in low elo from what I've seen?
Maybe because the games are faster. I don't know. He requires a fair bit of wave control to play like effectively, but I don't.
Is it because of his scaling and the fact? Yeah, I think you're right. I
I don't
that
think
makes
that's
sense.
necessarily true though. I think he's like his win rates are not insanely skewed towards high elo or anything. I don't think he's super good.
Well, I know like in 2 patches ago when I checked, it was really like it was a huge difference.
Maybe.
It was pretty big. Like it was a few percent.
I think it's really easy to get super ahead on Renekton, and then if you're not an experienced player, like try to smork the enemy team, and then just get shit on. So that's
what I've realized is like if I don't play stupid against Renekton and with Fiora, like, and I don't feed him early, like at some point like, he just becomes irrelevant. Like he can't match me. I one shot him through anything after a while. Like if I get like if we were both like on 3 items at like 20 something in the 20 minutes, like he's just useless. Like he's just
like,
what
if you're even with a Renekton at 3 items playing most like Conqueror Bruisers, you're not gonna have
that's exactly what I've realized, and that's why like but he's an extremely frustrating champion because I had a few times where like I got a first blood on one the other day, and then after that at like 15 minutes I lost a trade, a fight, and all, and like we were both on like 50 HP, and he just got the cooldown, and I realized I'd flash up, and I should have realized that his cooldown were coming up. I could have flashed out and queue back in, and I would have won. But I guess I'm just like he can be extremely frustrating champion. I find.
Yep. Well, no arguments here. I permaban.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't want to perma him though.
I'm gonna go do my AMRAP press day. It's gonna be fun.
Sounds good. I have a question for you, actually. One last one. How was your scrims with the Balkan team?
It was good. I got on.
Oh, really? Okay, cool.
Yeah, and I like the team. I'm pretty sure they're quite good. So I'm pretty excited. But I'm mostly like my main thing right now is solo queue because I've been chilling in Grandmaster MMR for quite some time now, and
you have to hit challenger now.
And I think a low challenger is in the. I mean, it's not like my goal, but I'm just trying to consistently play well and.
Are you better than Aloys now?
But yeah, I mean,
Alois is like, he's one of the best, right? Raven EU.
yeah, I think that's fair to say. Reuven is probably, in my opinion, the best.
I don't know
Especially
who Ruben is. The only one I know is DK Alois. That's the only
he's chilling
person.
at like rank 10 or anything. I mean, Reuven and Aloys are the only EU Rivens that's. I mean,
What mentions?
there's
Yeah.
Blaze, there's Splitting. I don't know if he's changing them or whatever. But I think Reuven and Aloys are comfortably the best two Rivens in EU. Um, and then the debate for third is, I mean, there is no debate. It's Fastq, obviously. But that's. I mean,
I
I don't.
mean,
Yeah, I don't know.
you
I've
have to
also
you have
like.
to get rank 10, and then you can actually go and contest that
I mean,
title.
Riven isn't even my best champion here. She's my lowest out of my top 4 champions. She's my lowest win rate on my Halo account.
Really?
I do blind her, but like it's. I mean,
Well, you're becoming a better Camille.
she's probably my best champion, but I blind her, so the winner to skewed.
No, okay, yeah, it makes
Yeah,
sense. Like you play her against every matchup, even the bad ones, so it makes sense.
yeah, minus Renekton, but
Yeah, for sure. That's respectable.
but it's kind
All
of fun.
right, man.
All right, peace, dude.
Enjoy your training. Take care.
Thanks.
Bye.